Today's guest is Dev Modi, psychologist, author, and award-winning thought leader. With British, Indian, and African roots and a global perspective, Dev blends psychology, emotional intelligence, and leadership to help people unlock their full potential. In this episode, we dive into the connection between psychology and spirituality, what he's building here in Marbella, and yes, even psychedelics, and finding your true purpose. It's deep, inspiring, and you don't want to miss it.
Really, that monastery was when I first started to really take community building seriously and the work of inclusion, belonging, unity and diversity, because in this community there are people from all over the world, and I was doing the youth work there as a 15-year-old, which then led me to becoming a psychologist, some years later. Everything we see right now that's made by men and women first came from working together. It came through collaboration.
That in the end we need nothing, but we need human connection. We cannot survive on our own.
But naturally what happens is when you start to change, people start to change around you. When you change your relationship to yourself, all your relationships change. So that's the number one piece with emotional intelligence. You start with your relationship with yourself. When I look in the mirror, what do I see? A lot of what we're doing, MQ Fest twice a year, MQ Dojo every month, MQ Growth Academy every week. So if you've got this set in your life, you don't really need to worry too much about personal development. It's integrated into your life.
This episode is sponsored by Wellness by Boho, a holistic sanctuary at Boho Club offering yoga, energy therapies, and next generation treatments for mind, body, and soul.
Hello, everyone. This is Marbella Life. And I'm here with a super interesting guest who I've been dying to talk and meet. And his name is Dev. What an interesting name you've got as well. I'm so intrigued to hear about your story.
Okay.
I know a little bit about you, and I know you're doing an amazing event, which I'm planning to attend. So we're going to talk about it as well. But just to start off our conversation, I would like you to introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from, and maybe what do we need to know about your early childhood, and also what is it that you do in a nutshell?
Okay.
Right now.
So my name is Dev Modi, and I was born in London, northwest London, near Wembley Stadium, because I think many people who visit London, they know where that is. So I can see it from my house. And my mum and dad have a very interesting history because they were born in Africa. Dad was born in Zanzibar, mum was born in Uganda.
Wow.
Both born in very different places to London.
Yeah, very tropical.
But yeah, beautiful places. So they came to the UK in the 60s, and then I won't say when I was born, but later, later than the 60s.
Sure.
So yeah, life was great in London. I had a very lovely upbringing, great opportunities, resources, like really everything you need to be the best you can be. So I'm very grateful to my mum and dad because they really came to London with nothing.
Nothing. They had to start from zero.
Pretty much start from zero. But what that taught me from a very young age was resilience, was the ability to be resilient in the face of challenges, to not be overcome by obstacles. And I think the other thing, my mum and dad were very good at accepting the circumstances of their life. And they didn't live their life from the past. So they never complained about what happened to them in terms of their childhood with Africa and the whole revolution there. They never complained about the racism that was very prevalent and still is in the UK. They never complained about these things. They focused on the here and now, living each moment by moment and building. So their whole life was about building and connecting. So I think as a child, I learned how to be open to people because they are very open and they're very much focused on community. So with a lot of immigrants who come to a country, you tend to kind of find each other. It's the same happens in Marbella.
Yeah.
You know, you have the Swedish group, the Russian group, the Dutch group. So you have the different groups and they find each other because there's a sense of safety in familiarity.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of my passion for community and inclusion and belonging comes from those early years where I saw my mum and dad being involved in community in the local area where they would do events every week. Their friends would or they would, and gatherings and lots of beautiful experiences as a child just growing up around families.
So you're following their footsteps in a way.
Yeah, that was definitely like one of the first moments I remember, like the seeds of community. And
But what did they do as their profession?
Well, mum was working in like very working class jobs, you know,
Just
factory jobs and just trying to keep things moving. Then she started to get into a cake business and she was doing cake decorations and doing a little business from home. And dad was working for an accounting company as a, you could say clerk, accounting clerk. And very consistent, very, very consistent. Life was very similar from year to year. There was not much change going on. And I think the main thing is they save money, you know. For them, it was save money for your kids to give them a better life than what they had. So,
but it's all about safety. If you said like, you know, they had a bit of routine, but I guess they wanted safety because when they've been through so many different challenges in their life, all you want is like, you know, a warm house, food on the table. And like you said, when you have kids, your priorities change. You need to take care of your kids. You can't just think about yourself. You can't put on a backpack and just leave to the next place. You want to have some safety and routine. Absolutely. And that's the best for the child. And it's funny how you said your parents did it like naturally. How did they have this ability not to complain and be bitter about their past? Because I feel now people are spending so much money on coaches and meditations and therapies and retreats and I don't know what, just to be in the present moment. It's become such a problem. You know, I see it a lot. And of course, I even struggle with it too. So it's funny how they had this ability. Or what do you think? Where does that come from? Or could it be that we have so many distractions nowadays that maybe if they had the iPhones and maybe if they had, you know, the media to see what's going on, or where do you think they got this from? Or they were just resilient?
There are three
in their nature?
Ideas in my head right now when you're speaking about what made the difference for them and how I'm living my life now. And I think the first is purpose. Like they were very, very clear on their purpose. And I know in my work as a coach, as a business psychologist, which I'll get to the story of how I became a psychologist, purpose is very important. That we really know who we are, why we're here, and what is our gift in the world. Because the more we are aligned with that, we can unlock our potential. And what happens is when you're more focused on your purpose, there's something very magical that happens, is that you become more present. Because you're not distracted anymore or less distracted, you're really focused, then you can be really present because then you know that this present moment is the best moment because my purpose is unfolding moment by moment. So that's the second principle that I think I learned. And the third one is simple living, high thinking. So with my mum and dad, I observed them living a very simple life, but they had high thinking. So that meant that they would focus on the things that really mattered, which was relationships, family, love, health, all these things that sometimes we can forget about in our pursuit for material acquisition. So, yeah, that's my...
Interesting. I have also so many questions in my head, which I'm going to have to leave for later. I want to talk about money and spirituality. How do you think they should go together or not? But before we get there, so you were then raised in London. How do you describe your childhood? Do you remember it like you had a happy childhood? Do you feel like it was tough because of maybe you said racism issues? What memories do you have?
So it was very easy till probably like 11, 12. And then I went to high school and then it was like a whole new world. Suddenly you're like a really small kid in this giant school. And it was like kind of rough school. It wasn't the roughest, but it wasn't the best. It was in the middle. So there was, bullying, there was fighting, there was drugs, there was many things going on. So you had to be very aware. You had to be very aware of how you're walking, how you're talking, how you're interacting from a place of also like safety, you could say. So my social skills, I think, became more fine-tuned. And I remember at school, to be invisible.
Really?
So not in a bad way. It was like, okay, I don't want to stand out. I was not one of the kids that was getting bullied, but neither was I one of the popular kids.
I wanted to be neutral.
So I was the neutral kid. Just invisible, walking through the corridors. No one would notice me, and it would be like easier for me. But I remember being quite shy and introverted when I went to high school, and people don't believe that now because they see me doing workshops and talking all the time. But actually, it's been a long journey of probably at least a decade, 2 decades of training myself to come out of the shyness and the introversion and actually have more balance with extroversion and projecting energy out as much as also bringing the energy in. So then around about 14, I think he was about 14, my grand uncle passed away. And that was a big trigger point for me because when he passed away, I started to really question what is going on in the world and why is there suffering and why is there pain. I got very philosophical. I think I was a very philosophical kid. So that impacted me. So when I learned from a family member, they were going to a local monastery. It was a Hindu monastery 15 minutes from where I lived, which was actually donated to this Hindu monastery by George Harrison, one of the Beatles. So it's like a very famous spot in the UK. But it runs like a monastery in a community center. So my uncle would go there and I went with him to seminars every Sunday. It was like a Sunday school. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot when I was there about my culture, my history. And coming back to what you said before about identity, I think I went through an identity crisis at school where I was thinking, who am I? Because I don't fit in here. I have a different name, like you mentioned, my name, Dev Modi. So already,
in a way.
Already you stand out with your name, then you look different, and you then start to think about, well, what are my roots? Who am I, and where do I get my strength from? Because I don't seem to understand where these people are coming from and their culture. So I think going to this monastery helped me to reconnect with my roots from, you could say, my ancestry. And that had the very profound effect of making me more confident, happier and more fulfilled. And then I was able to be much better at school, much better at college and university as I went through my education, because I had that solid grounding. I knew who I was, and it was very firm for me, deep roots. And I think, using the analogy of a tree, I think if you are a seed that's planted in a particular place, you need to have deep roots in order to grow in a beautiful way, a more profound way. And I think if you don't have the deep roots, you don't get the nutrients that you need to really fulfill yourself. So I felt like that, like maybe this little baby acorn that was planted in London, and with the right watering, the right soil, the right nutrients, and sunshine. Not so much sunshine in London, but love, I guess, was my sunshine. I was able to grow and become stronger. And then really that monastery was when I first started to really take community building seriously and the work of inclusion, belonging, unity and diversity, because in this community there are people from all over the world. And I was doing the youth work there as a 15-year-old. So when my friends were experiencing girls and alcohol and drugs and partying, I was at the Sunday school doing youth work and voluntary work and thinking about how to help people essentially from a very young age, which then led me to becoming a psychologist, some years later.
But did you have any of your school friends come with you to the monastery, or you really felt in a way like you were totally different from your school friends? Or did you have you have some young friends in the monastery that you were hanging out? Because you kind of need people from your own age group as well when you're in that age, I think.
Well, I lost some of those early friends, and then in the youth group, I made more friends.
Because I went to church when I was also young, and up to my teenage years as well. And we actually also made so many nice friends in the church. And I think, like I said, it was more about the community. I wasn't so religious as per se, not doing maybe everything that I was supposed to do by the religion, but I loved the community. I loved making new friends there. We were singing, doing some creative work. We were doing orientation in forests, some youth camps. So I loved all that part, which is amazing. And I have a question that maybe you have a good tip for parents who are maybe struggling with their teenagers, who are feeling the same. And especially maybe in Marbella, when you're from a different country and don't feel like you're fitting in, what do you think they should do? Should they also maybe find some kind of church or religion, or what kind of tips would you give parents nowadays? Because nowadays people already have phones at that age, but like you said, so many kids, and I think it's a confusing time anyway, puberty for boys and girls. You're not sure who you are. You want to be like the rest because that's what you see on social media. But how can we help the youth connect back to themselves also and to know who they are?
Very good question.
Yeah, I'd love to know the answer.
I have I think a very simple and also challenging answer for the people who are asking this question. So I would say, I have a 9-year-old, so he's not a teenager yet, but I can speak from my friends' experiences and what I see in terms of human behavior. So as a business psychologist, I always have this lens of psychology when I'm asked a question, and I'm thinking on many different levels. The cultural level, the sociological, the psychological, and also scientific as well. And for me, we cannot give our kids something that we do not actually experience ourselves. So we want our kids to be present, and when we're constantly distracted, we want our kids to be, disciplined when we are like not disciplined ourselves. We want them to be, giving and generous when we are not that way. So we cannot expect them to do something that we're struggling with ourselves. The best teacher is example, being a role model. And I think this is why so many parents are struggling. It's more a case they're struggling within themselves to actually be what they want their kids to be. So I think that's the first step. And it's hard, it's challenging.
You're like, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to hear. I need a quick fix.
There is no quick fix. If we want our kids to not be distracted by social media and by the virtual world, we need to make the real physical world more interesting and more exciting for them. And really, there is nothing more beautiful than genuine connection. When human beings genuinely connect with each other, there is such a source of bliss, happiness, joy in that connection that you won't think about your phone. You won't think about watching Netflix or going to the movies, because actually your life is so much more vibrant and colorful and interesting than the movies and Netflix. I know a barometer in my life when I know that I'm in a good place is that I don't really get distracted by social media or movies or Netflix, whatever. When my life is not so interesting, then I get sucked into the virtual world, because we want to have these experiences, but we don't want to do the hard work to get them. So it's much easier to experience, like, say, I don't know, watch a tennis game, right? Tennis is very popular here. It's much easier to watch tennis on TV than go and actually train to play tennis. That requires hard work and discipline and, changes in your diet and whatever else, right? So it's much easier to be a consumer rather than a creator. And the challenge we have in today's society, not just with the teenagers, but the parents, is that we are in a culture of being consumers. And we are bombarded all the time. Consume, consume, consume. If you don't feel happy, go and buy this. If you don't feel happy, watch this. So there's always a sense of escapism. And the challenge is what we're escaping from is ourselves. We're not escaping from the problem. The problem or the distraction is there because there's something missing inside that we have to dig inwards. So that's what I do. A lot of my work, whether it's coaching, team coaching, or community events, retreats, every single one is about transformational connections. Even beyond conversations, because I used to say transformational conversations. But so much of my work now is not even about conversations. It goes beyond language. Because there's only so far you can go with words. Words are just symbols. But beyond the words is the presence that you have. And when you're in that level of transformational connection, you don't actually even need to use words anymore. You just understand and know something beyond that. And that's truly a beautiful experience. And sadly, the work that I do, not many people have that frequently enough. And that's the source of our unhappiness, I would say.
But at least you're doing the job, so you are helping people. And I think there's more and more of this work nowadays, which in a way is good, but in a way is sad that we, like you said, I think in the past, some of these things came naturally. And now we kind of have to force ourselves to just sit and be and watch and see what's happening inside, not so much on the outside. And I see these camps where you go and you're blindfolded. They're becoming so popular.
Yeah, dark.
Because just to get rid of everything, no? I think this is, but this is a challenge. If you live in a modern world, you have billboards, even if, let's say, you don't have the phone, but you have radio, TV, like there's so much info coming, people talking to you, like you can't really hide from the world. But I'm sure there's good tips how to manage living in this world, but still being present, having a purpose and having a happy life.
I think one of the reasons why this is happening is that in the world, we have prioritized as society profit over purpose and passion. So we focus so much on profit that we then demote the other areas of life. So if it's not making money, if it's not giving us a return, we don't give it attention. And I do a lot of work with companies like eBay, PayPal, BP, Ericsson, many different companies. And they're wonderful companies, but there's always a tension between these areas of what is the reason why this business exists? Why did it start in the first place? And usually there's always a very pure, positive intention behind the business. But as the business grows and develops and leadership changes, it starts to become more and more about profit. And that's where I think that's the work I do with my coaching is reminding these organizations and these individuals in those teams come back to the source. So if you can imagine almost like a pyramid, that's the way I visualize it in my head. At the moment, we have it upside down. So profit is at the top, then we have passion and then purpose. We need to flip it around the other way. So we start with purpose at the top. That's really our passions help to explore that and to share that in the world. If we have a purpose and then we have the passion, passion is like the, you could say the fuel in the car. So purpose is like your compass. You need the compass, your GPS, your internal GPS to know which direction to go in. But if you don't have the fuel, then even having a purpose is not enough. You will never realize your potential. So that's where you need the passion. You need to really tap into your passion, which means that you need to have good habits in terms of your health, your diet, all the other elements, the relationships, because that's what gives you the passion, the energy, the drive to then go forwards. Then the profit will come. Maybe not. But the point is that you're still happy.
But what do you tell people that, yeah, this all sounds great, but if I start doing, let's say I'm a painter, so I start painting every day, I'm not selling anything, but I'm super passionate. I do need to pay my mortgage, and let's say I have kids, I need food on the table. I can't just be passionate about painting and, you know, like you said, money might come, might not, but we need the money.
Exactly, yeah. You have to have some common sense with this whole journey because we're all starting at different points. And when I began my career as a business psychologist, I went into psychology because I really wanted to help people. And I thought, well, I don't want to be counseling people or in clinical psychology. I want to help business people, corporate people. So that's when I started to focus on this area. And I really thought that that would give me a deep sense of fulfillment. But once I was in the world of corporate psychology, it was sometimes really hard to get that feeling because I got kind of stuck in the world. So I couldn't just transition from one job to the next before being ready. I was having some common sense around, oh, I need to pay the bills and the mortgage and whatever else. But if I look back, I think I overly prioritized security more than I needed to. And I think whatever I'm doing now, I could have started much earlier if I had more confidence in myself, I had more belief, I had more surrender that I've got these skills and capabilities. I just need to believe in myself. So I think I do agree with you. You can sometimes go too fast, and I do meet some people who are overly confident. And before they're ready, they already give up everything, and then they cannot pay the bills, and they have many issues. But I think most of us, at least the people I work with, they tend to be the other extreme. So,
but what helped you? Like you said, you could have done the change probably before, but you did it at a certain point in your life. What helped you make that for sure? Or did you have a mentor or a coach yourself?
I had many different mentors, many different teachers at various stages of my life, and also very good friends. Friends who were, you could have a laugh, you could joke around, you could party with them. At the same time, if you needed to have a deep conversation about your life, they could switch off their phones and their minds and just be present to you. So I think that really helped. I think the other thing is pain in life. You know, the obstacles come and you do not expect them. And pain can be a trauma, it can also be a teacher. And I think that's really important that we reframe our traumas in a different way. Because if we keep on reinforcing, oh, this is a trauma, this is a trauma, this is a trauma, it becomes a story. And we can become the story, we become attached to it. So a lot of the work I did on myself, and I also do with my clients, is you reframe the trauma as a teacher and you learn from it. Because what else can you do from the past? You cannot change it. It happened. If you try and fight with the past, guess who wins that fight? The past.
And if you keep living in the past, then what do you expect your future to be?
Exactly.
Probably the same as yesterday.
Absolutely. That's what happens. So, you know, that's a really important concept is acceptance and reframing our experiences so that they are providing us stories that are helping us. Because we are the producers and directors of our own movie, you know, of our own lives. When we have a chapter of our life that didn't go the way we expected, it's like, okay, well, that's chapter 5. I accept that in every story there's going to be ups and downs. So that's chapter 5. I've learned from that. Now I'm on chapter 6 or whatever the chapter is in your life. But I'm the one writing this chapter. Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds perfect, and I try to live my life this way too. And I'm a quite positive, optimistic person, as I think my character is like that. But I know there's so many, and I have some friends of mine also, but I know they're quite negative and pessimistic, and this is also kind of like a habit that they struggle to come out of. So what kind of daily tips or things they could do home now that, of course, they can reach out to you and get a coach, but some people, well, whatever their reasons are, maybe they don't want to. So what could they do daily? Like maybe there's 3 things they can do daily, or one thing that could help them change. Because you might think like that, but then you go back to the automatic programming in your head. So what is it that could help these kind of people?
Well, there's 4 levels that I work with in my coaching, which is body, mind, heart, and spirit. So it covers different intelligences: the physical intelligence, the emotional intelligence, the rational intelligence, and spiritual intelligence. So those 4 areas are part of what makes us human. So a big part of daily practice to get ourselves back on track is a very deep sense of knowing that within myself, I have all the answers. I have the potential within myself. And from that place of knowing that, it's beyond even belief. Maybe you begin with the belief. I believe I have what I need within myself. But if you can go from that sense of belief to knowing it, knowing is different, because knowing means that you don't need to rely on evidence. It's just inherent within yourself. Then focusing on habits. So thinking about my physical life, my body intelligence, physical intelligence. What am I doing in my life right now in terms of what I'm eating? This is the number 1 impact on most people's lives, is that they're eating garbage. Junk in, junk out. So if you're eating really terrible foods, really the energy of the food, the consciousness of what made that food, it impacts people. So I think making sure that you have really high quality food that goes in for your energy system. And then you have the other junk that comes in through our eyes and ears. So if you imagine junk coming in through here, and then junk coming in through here and here with our videos and TV and whatever else, then what happens when you've got the garbage coming in, the garbage comes out in terms of the way we speak, the way we connect, the way we communicate. So that's why you start with that first principle of what's coming into your senses. You start changing that. So you don't watch certain channels, you don't watch certain news. You have a switch off point, not to overdo it with distractions. Put your phone away, switch it off, and make sure you change. You change the food that you have, make better choices. That's the first step. And then you have the emotional intelligence. So the friends that you keep is the most powerful impact on us. Sometimes we feel so, loyal. Sometimes we feel this sense of loyalty to friends that we've had for many, many years. The thing is that if they are not bringing lots of joy to your life, they're not coming from a positive place, and they're not willing to take your help, then you have to at some point make a decision. It doesn't mean you cut them like this in a cold-hearted way and stop messaging them. But naturally what happens is when you start to change, people start to change around you. When you change your relationship to yourself, all your relationships change. So that's the number 1 piece with emotional intelligence. You start with your relationship with yourself. When I look in the mirror, what do I see? That's the first step. And then with rational intelligence, like IQ, is reading, watching things that get you thinking, get you really curious about life. And it can also be with music as well. Listening to music that's uplifting, that brings your mind to a focal point that's very positive. And spiritual intelligence is about service. It doesn't mean, psychic readings or that kind of thing. But spiritual intelligence in this denotion is more about purpose, having a clear sense of something greater than oneself that you're acting for. It could be your family. It could be your community in Marbella. It could be the wider world, that actually my life is not just for me, myself, and I. It's about actually we. So he's moving from the me to the we, is a simple way I describe spiritual intelligence, is when someone makes that transition. Because if everyone in the world is coming from the me, myself and I, what kind of world will we have? Like everything we see right now that's made by men and women first came from working together. It came through collaboration. It came from people thinking about it first. They created first in the mind, and then they spoke the idea to someone. And someone else said, hey, I really like your idea. And then, okay, we're going to work together. And that's how everything was created, right? So that's why we need to think about that as well in terms of how do I live in a way that's greater than myself? And if you focus on those 4 areas, guaranteed, 100% you will feel better within moments.
Yeah, definitely. I think already if you take the time at least to just even think about these things, you're making progress. Because a lot of the time we don't even want to think about it. Like I said, we put on the Netflix and eat some chips and get on with it. And I don't want to think about it because it's hard and change is hard. But and I think that's why the coaches and therapists are becoming so useful, because people struggle to make that change themselves. It's nice when someone takes your hand and says, I'll help you a bit, Call me every day or meet me and I'll help you. Because like you said, if your friends are not like that, who's going to help you out of it then? You need someone, I think, from the outer world to come pull you out and see what's going around you, so then you can make your own choices. If you want to have the same friends, you want to have the same life. So, yeah, I totally agree with everything that you say. And so tell me, you went to study then psychology, you were doing the corporate psychology, and then what happened next? How did you get into the spirituality? I mean, you had that spirituality connection from the monastery, but you are moving more and more towards the spirituality I see now. Or am I wrong?
Well, I think it's just becoming a bigger part of the work that I'm doing, but it's becoming more integrated. Whereas before I was living in 2 worlds. So it's like,
corporate.
Yeah, exactly. Weekend I do this stuff in the monastery, and then during the week I do the corporate stuff. And it didn't really blend together. But now I feel much more integrated, because even in my coaching, we talk about whatever needs to be spoken about. There's no barrier, there's no limitation. And my clients feel that. So then they also feel so safe that within a very short space of time, they start to reveal things that they have not told anybody else in their life, because they don't feel like they're going to be heard or they're not seen.
Or judged.
Or judged, yeah, many times. So I think that's my power as a coach, why I do this work. You could say, the people say, what's your superpower? That's probably my superpower, is that I'm able to build connection with people fast, make them feel a sense of safety, to allow them to really start to express who they are, and then to work with that. And so that's been a big part of my life.
So how does your work actually look like? So if, let's say I'm a client of yours, how many times do you meet your clients, or how does the process look like for someone maybe who's struggling, who wants to find their purpose, wants to change, and maybe they think it's too expensive, maybe it takes years. How does the process look like?
So the process can really depend on the individuals, but at least in the work that I do right now, there's a few different options that people have. So I set up something called the MQ Growth Academy. So the Growth Academy is a virtual community where there's small groups of people that I'm coaching in a group for an hour and a half every week. So it becomes a weekly habit. And we cover those 4 areas that I mentioned. So we cover whatever it needs to be talked about and explored. And I challenge them. I'm provocative. I hold them to account. We hold each other to account. And people are loving that. And that's something that we are looking to just continue rolling out. So that's one option.
And it's probably not expensive either. So
compared to what people are spending money on?
Yeah. And also, no, I mean, compared to maybe one-on-one, if you're hesitant,
exactly.
maybe. So, and it's also like a little community. Yeah. Maybe you make some friends and you find someone who is in the same path as you.
Well, people learn from hearing from the others, and they don't feel like they're the only one. So one-to-one coaching is the most expensive approach of working with someone like me. But that's why I set up the Growth Academy, because then people can be in a group. But there's also a different kind of benefit. It's not just this is less than the one-to-one. Yeah. It's actually just as good. It's just different. And so that's one option. And the other option, something that we are launching very soon, is called the MQ Dojo. So dojo is a Japanese word, which means the way or the path. So in the ancient Japanese culture, they would use the word dojo to denote a place of practice, of discipline, to become a better human being, physically, mentally, spiritually. And then the martial arts schools like karate, aikido, jiu-jitsu adopted this word of dojo. So now if you go around to different schools around the world, generally it's only used in the martial art context. I did martial arts when I was younger. I did karate. I did jiu-jitsu. I also did an Indonesian martial art called silat.
Wow.
You know, for short periods, I would experiment with different martial arts. So this idea of a place that you go to train and to become better was really, it's a strong thing for me. And dojo is not maybe known so well by most people, but the MQ Dojo is a place where it will be a day retreat that happens every month, where it's going to be even more accessible, price point wise, but also in terms of a different experience, where it's a whole day from morning till kind of evening, where you're together in a group and going through very deep psychological processes. And so again, that's another habit or ritual that I wish to create here. So that I feel like routine rituals are really important, because then you're not having to think about personal development. It just happens because it's part of your life. Like, we don't think about brushing our teeth. We don't think about, you know, washing the dishes or having a shower. These are things that are just part of our routine. It's part of our habits. So discipline will only get you so far, but habits will get you all the way. Because discipline requires focus and energy and commitment, and it can be tiring, because discipline also means that even if I don't like doing it, I'm still going to force myself to do it because I know it's good for me. But when you get to habit, you go from not thinking about it, it's just automatic.
Yeah, you're like in the subconscious already, autopilot. Like we're driving to work. Yeah, I'm not thinking about it. I'm already driving because I know the way.
That's what happens. So, you know, that habits then start forming. And then the festival, coming to MQ Fest, which is happening in, I think, about a couple of weeks on the 8th of November
that's
in
so
Ronda.
exciting. I love that you're doing that.
We can't wait. It's in a beautiful, beautiful place called Cueva del Gato. And it's one of the most scenic places in the whole of the coast, as far as I have experienced.
Totally, I agree. I interviewed Darren actually in Cueva del Gato, so you have to go and watch that episode where we're sitting on the terrace there overlooking the valley, and wow, it's stunning.
Amazing.
So what can people expect? It's like a whole day.
It's a whole day festival. So it's from the morning, 10 o'clock, till you could say midnight. There's international DJs that will be there from different genres of music, different backgrounds, different nationalities, concerts as well. There'll be multiple workshops going on throughout the day.
Do you need to like book for the workshops, or you just like come on the day and see where you go?
Yeah, just, you know, go with the flow. You know, there'll be some workshops happening by the cave. There'll be some yoga happening by the river. There'll be some people going into the sauna and the ice bath, or, you know, the Mexican sweat lodge, which is like a sauna, and doing some ceremonies there. Or you'll be at the main stage, where you're just going to be dancing and having fun, or marketplace. So there's various local artisan people coming who have got their products, many different types of products who will also be there. So there's so many options. And also, people don't want to do anything. They can literally just put their yoga mat down by the lake, the lagoon, and just relax. So there's no pressure of attendance to anything, but it really is about building a community together as a collective. And celebration is a big part of MQ. And MQ Fest is all about celebration, celebrating what it means to be human. Because I feel that when we celebrate what it means to be human, we celebrate what is the best within us. Whereas a lot of society is focusing on what is the worst within us. Like, what can go wrong? What are we doing right now that's terrible? And we're just bombarded constantly by these different messages. And it's not just from actual news, it's from the movies, it's from so many things. The constant pressure of escapism with alcohol, for example, is in all the movies I've seen in so many years. Whenever any of the lead characters are going through something emotional, you watch out for this.
Having a bad day, have a martini.
They have a whiskey, they have a drink, they're in a bar. And I have noticed this for so many years because I've been paying attention to it. I would say 99% of every movie I've watched, the characters at some point, even if it's for quite a young age group, they are having a drink or a smoke. Usually it's alcohol, though. So what this is teaching society subconsciously is that the only way that we can feel good, we can deal with our emotions, that we can feel human, is that we have to find these other distractions. So MQ Fest is about coming back to being human, celebrating what is the best within us, being a community where we're diverse, people from all different backgrounds, from artists, musicians, to super successful AI entrepreneurs who've already sold their startups and they're now wanting to go into the next adventure. We really have people from that full spectrum, you know, people with, you know, 0 in the bank to like 9 figures in the bank. And the wonderful thing is we're all together without judgment, without making assumptions, and just accepting each other. And that's the most beautiful thing, because guess what? We're born naked without anything to our name, and we're going to die that way too. So no matter how much we want to hold on to all these things, you know, sadly, they're not going to be with us. So I think MQ Fest is about coming back to that.
Sounds amazing. And yeah, I'm definitely going to go. And I really hope you come and join, because also I think it's one of the first of its kind here. I don't think there's anyone who's done that. So it's also like, I find that already a huge celebration that someone is doing that and taking the risk to do that. Yeah. But I know so many people are going already. So many of my friends have heard it. And because people are actually craving for it. Like we said, we need that. We need to take the time to go back to the basics, and we want that community, because in Marbella can be a bit tricky, you know. You see the flashy things, the nice material, and people get sometimes distracted by it and think they need to have that. But like I said, in the end, we need nothing, but we need human connection. We cannot survive on our own. So I think it's going to be an amazing day. But of course, there won't be any alcohol served in this event.
There won't be any alcohol.
But I want to talk about alcohol, and what about also the psychedelics? What do you think about alcohol, psychedelics? Because I also know a lot of people who have gone, let's say maybe they quit alcohol, but then maybe they go to extreme with the psychedelic side. It's almost like they were escaping with the alcohol. Okay, they got rid of it, but now they're like almost escaping into the spiritual world a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Have you seen that in your work? And what do you think? Is there a balance with that, or should you maybe not even go to the other side and try these things? Or what are your thoughts on that?
So let me explain a little bit more about what psychedelics actually means.
Because of course there's so many different types as. But to be honest, I don't know what the magic mushrooms, I guess, are some of them. Ayahuasca, there's the synthetic MDMA. I haven't tried any of them, but I'm not saying I'm open maybe to one day trying it out if it's like with a therapist, or also knowing, I think I should know more about it. I think I should do more research about something like that if I go and try it, not just to do it because they said it on Netflix, or you know, one person is trying it and it's good for them.
But it's very interesting that the word psychology, and you know, my identity as a corporate psychologist also shares the same beginning, psyche, with the word psychedelics. And so psyche in the original Greek meant the soul. So when the Greeks were, you know, philosophizing about these things, they were trying to study what is the soul, what is consciousness. But they couldn't find consciousness, they couldn't find the soul. So then psyche started to represent the mind. So psychology is the study of the mind. And a psychologist is someone who studies the mind and helps people with the mindset. And that's really what I'm about. It's about mindset coaching, mindset discovery. So psychedelic comes from the word also psyche, soul, and delios is almost like the awakening of the soul, discovering the soul. So it has some similar connotations. It's coming at the same problem from different perspectives. So psychedelics are usually natural substances. Sometimes they are synthetic, but even the synthetic chemicals came from the earth. So it's all from the earth anyway, right? We haven't got things from outer space. It's all from here. So psychedelic is something that creates some sense of maybe experience within that takes you on a journey. And you have to do it carefully. You have to do it mindfully. And there's a lot of abuse going on with psychedelics, not just with people who are attending, but also the teachers, the shamans, the facilitators. You have to be very mindful of choosing the right people. So psychedelics have become very popular because of science in the recent decade. Maybe even for 30, 40 decades, 3 or 4 decades have become very popular because the science is showing that psychedelics can help to heal us on a deep level if they're used correctly. If they're not used correctly, of course, it becomes another addiction, another form of escapism and distraction. So that's something that you have to be very careful about. But used in the right way, like any powerful tool, it can create transformation and it can accelerate the change. Whether it's forgiveness, restoring your health, letting go of things that are stopping you from being your best, giving you visions and you could say ideas of your future. So it can be very creative, future focused, and it can also be very much focused on the past, or it can be very much in the present moment.
Sounds very good. But I feel like I might get addicted to that. That's
It's an incredible thing. With psilocybin, which is the scientific name for the active ingredients of magic mushrooms, psilocybin is the least toxic of pretty much all the psychedelics or of any real substance in the world. Like there are no known cases globally of anyone overdosing on mushrooms. You will get very sick if you eat a mushroom, like tummy ache.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna die from it. You will die from alcohol poisoning. You will die also from caffeine. If you overdo the espressos, there's a certain limit. You can actually get a heart attack. So there's also nicotine. You have too much nicotine. Of course, we know what that does to the body. Guess what? All of these are legal. Alcohol is publicized in every shop corner, right? Tobacco you can buy everywhere. Well, in Spain a little more restricted, but it's available. Coffee is everywhere, right? So we are already a society that is fueled by drugs. This is what people don't understand. They don't consider alcohol a drug. Alcohol is a drug, and it's the most dangerous drug. It's not just a drug that is for fun and for partying. When they do analysis of all drugs combined, there is some evidence to suggest that alcohol is more dangerous than heroin and crack and cocaine. And the reason why, because of the social impact of alcohol. When people become addicted to it, then when they go out and party and they overdo it, they fall over, they crack their head, they get into fights, they start getting into abuse, many, many terrible things. So why is it publicized? Why is it encouraged? This is a society we live in, so we have to be awake. We cannot be just blindly following whatever the TV is telling us and the government is telling us, right? There's a reason why America tried to prohibit alcohol. They didn't succeed, right? But they tried, and there was a reason, because they saw the social impact that it was having on their people. So I'm not saying you should have a drink. Like my friends drink, I might have a little sip of, little taste of someone's drink, right?
But you don't consume.
I wouldn't consider that really consuming, because it's like, it's just to make them feel, oh, okay, I tried something. But alcohol is really the most dangerous, so we have to be aware of that. And psychedelics, on that same chart, mushrooms were the least addictive. They're not biologically addictive. You don't get withdrawal symptoms. You get transformational experiences if you do it properly. Don't take them at a party. Don't take them at a festival. Don't take them just hanging out with your friends and having random conversations, because there's a high chance you might not get a good experience. But if you do it with the right people in the right time in your life, in the right place, I would say very high probability. I would say like close to 100%, you will have one of the most transformational experiences of your life.
But my question then is, for example, someone like me, I've never tried them, but should I even start trying them? Or like, is it even necessary for me to do a transformation? So I cannot get that deep transformation without doing that? That is
you can.
Like, how do I know that I kind of need it? Or, that's something that I've thought about myself.
Well, the first thing to remember that with psychedelics, they work on already, you are your own drug dealer. Like we have all the chemicals within ourselves to be the best we can be. And these medications or drugs or plant medicine, they're tapping into our already original system within ourselves, whether it's DMT or it's serotonin or dopamine or parts of the brain that light up because of the way these chemicals work in the brain. So breath work is seen as being the best first step for anyone who wants to do deep transformation. Breath work is a great step. Of course, if you think about the yoga system is not about just doing postures, which is something that I studied as a teenager. You start with the postures, but then it gets to breath work and then meditation. So it's a very interesting step-by-step process of transformation. So start with breath work. Deep breath work allows you to start to tap into your inner workings, your subconscious. That gets you prepared. And if you can then go straight from breath work into deep meditations, you don't need anything else. You have everything within yourself. But if you're struggling, if you're challenged and you really are lost and you're finding it so difficult, then these are what I call plant allies. They are our friends from the natural world. Like we have fruits and vegetables and herbs that we use to heal us. For our, when we're having a cold or we're having a flu or we're feeling aches and pains or for nutrients.
Yeah.
In the same way, Mother Earth in her wisdom has also provided us plant medicine that is also for our mind and our soul. That's my belief. And I've experienced that. So I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Be curious. Doesn't mean you should do it.
Very curious.
No.
But that's the thing. I'm not sure if I need it.
No.
Might be. Maybe I don't, but I'm curious.
Well, that's where it begins, curiosity.
Yeah,
and when you're curious, it doesn't mean you're going to do it.
Yeah.
But you start to educate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like I'm maybe lacking right now. I know a little bit, but I also don't want to jump into it just because let's just do it for fun.
No.
Because I don't think it should be for fun. I think it's nice, like you say. This also has a purpose. No, why are you doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about my books, actually.
Yes, we have two. I mean, how many books have you written?
Just two.
Just two, because I thought
no, just two.
But two is already. I mean, writing one book is already enough work, but writing two books, incredible. You can actually order these on Amazon, and I'd love to read them.
So just to give you a bit of an idea, that both of them, one is called the Inclusive Leader Scorecard, and then the second book is called Inclusion Unlocked. So the word inclusion comes up twice because with my work in the corporate world as a business psychologist, I started to work more in this area of diversity, belonging, and inclusion in the last few years. So during COVID, I had 3 months when things were really tough with virtual working and we didn't know where the world was going. I was thinking, I would like to leave a gift on this planet, which is a book. I've always wanted to write one, so I'm going to commit to it. Yeah, so the Inclusive Leader Scorecard was something I wrote, self-published, and it went really well. A lot of my friends and connections in the business world purchased it, and it led to some great business opportunities. And then I was thinking of writing a second one with a publisher, and that's when I wrote this one, Inclusion Unlocked, with a friend of mine called Mark Woods, and someone else, Melissa Thomas Hunt, who I met as well. So Melissa Thomas Hunt is a African-American woman from Virginia. She's a professor, and I interviewed her when she was at Airbnb. She was Chief Diversity Officer at Airbnb, and I interviewed her in a conference. And then we just connected, and I said, Melissa, I really want to write a book, but I don't want to write it just from a man's perspective and also from the UK. I'd love a US perspective and also a woman's perspective, and you're an academic as well. So she agreed to be part of the team. And Mark Woods he was a business partner, and now he's my friend, and we still work together. He has an incredible story. He was a Paralympic athlete. He had cancer when he was, I think, 17, 18, lost his leg.
Oh my God.
And then went really into swimming, and he became a gold medalist for swimming. He went to 3 Paralympic Games.
My goodness.
So he won so many gold medals, silver and bronze. And so they both joined me. So it was my project, I was leading it, but they joined me. We co-authored the book, and we got a publisher, Wiley, which is a very renowned publisher globally, to help us with this. So it says a guide for leaders to act. And one thing that a lot of people wouldn't know is during writing this book, quite early on, Melissa Thomas Hunt, at her university, there was a terrible shooting that happened. So she was completely pulled into this. So that was one of our first big obstacles in writing the book. And then the second big obstacle was Mark started to feel lumps in his throat during the first few months of us agreeing to write the book. And we're just the beginning. And so I don't know what these lumps are, if I'm going to go and get it tested. And it turned out to be cancer for the second time.
Oh, no.
And I remember when he first told me and the team about it, I was so devastated. Everyone was devastated for him because we never thought he would get it again. And he went, and also in the neck as well, being such a critical organ in the body. So he went to chemotherapy, had an operation, he had the lump taken out, which was cancerous. And it was very unclear what would happen with the book. I was the main one driving it forward and leading it, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So it was like my dream was crushing in the middle of writing this book. Luckily, he survived, thank God.
Yeah.
And he continued to work with us, and Melissa Thomas Hunt got herself back on track after the terrible situation that happened to her. And also that was the time of all this chaos in America, you know, with diversity and the issues and challenges with different communities in America getting judgment and racism and prejudice. So it was a tough time. But we got to the end. It was painful writing the book. It was not easy. But I was so glad last year, I think it was beginning of last year, we launched the book. And I'm so glad that these 2 babies are now born. And I feel privileged that I had the chance to work with them and write 2 books.
I really want to read them, honestly. I need to get a copy of these from Amazon. But like you said, you were talking about you wanted to include Melissa, who had a different kind of background, and you have such a diverse background, and you lived in probably many places. What would you say, what nationality do you feel that you are? Or if someone asks, what nationality are you, Deb? What do you say? Or do you think it's even important to have like a label like that?
I don't think it is, actually. The more I meet people, the more I connect on a human level, the less I care about these labels.
Let's leave it in the past, no? The past story.
I think it's, of course, you know, born in London, mum and dad from Africa, my roots in India, now I'm in Spain. My co-parent is from New Zealand, from Maori tradition with European mix. My son,
it's a mix of everything.
He's a rainbow kid, you know, he has like so many cultures that influence him. Of course, there is some real power in having heritage, like having a connection to a place, to a culture.
Where do you belong? No?
So, you know, I have a strong connection to Indian spiritual culture and heritage. I have a strong connection to the teachings from that place, like the yoga tradition. But I'm not imprisoned by that label. I'm very open to the shamanic traditions of Latin America, the European traditions of psychotherapy and psychology that have been such a big part of my life. You know, I cannot ignore that. The leadership coaches from America who've written such amazing books about leadership philosophy, all of these different influences coming together to make us who we are as human beings. I mean, what kind of world would it be if we just had one nationality and one language and one cuisine? It would be the most boring place. So for me, it's like, again, a celebration of what it means to be human, is that we have so many people from different backgrounds. So kind of coming back to MQ Tribe, when I came to Marbella, I was really searching for community. I was searching for identity.
Yeah. Why did you come to Marbella also?
You know, why I came to Marbella was the sunshine, because of the family decision that we wanted to be in a better place for our son. So it came from a place of wanting to give my son a better future than maybe the circumstances of London. So we came to Spain. I didn't know anything about Marbella, to be honest.
So when was that? Which year?
It was about 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So a while ago.
7 years ago. A lot of traveling back and forth to London at that first kind of half of my time here. And it was really difficult. It was a challenging 3-4 years to figure out how to live in a different place, because I'd never lived anywhere different from London. So it was a big jump. A lot of challenges on the personal front as well. Went into a dark place, a lot of sadness.
And how did you overcome that?
Well, through building MQ Tribe, actually, I have to say it was probably my my medicine out of everything. It started off as being a men's group. So I had a couple of friends that I had made on the coast. I said to them, hey, I'm from a coaching background. Why don't we get together for dinner or lunch? And during that, we can share some deep aspects of our lives with each other, coaching questions. So 2 guys would say yes. We'd go for a lunch. It was like, wow, that was awesome. Let's do it again next week. Or we'll tell a few more of our friends. So it went from 2-3 guys to 6 guys to 12, then 20. And I was like, wow, more and more people are interested. I remember doing events in Marbella, San Pedro, and Nagueles, and different areas where we'd come to people's homes. We'd have like 40, 50 men coming.
Wow.
And we'd even be doing some kind of breath work together. We'd be even singing together with my friends and musicians, doing things that these guys had never done before. And it was really a powerful experience for the people.
Yeah.
But what I found that was lacking was that there was not enough commitment from the men to their personal growth and development. And then I opened it up to men and women. I felt the women were more evolved when it came to personal development. They're more willing to commit to it. I thought it might make this tribe stronger by actually having both people together, both genders together, men and women, and also more family focused, because then the kids could be also part of the MQ tribe. So that was a big jump and a big step, and then it transformed. So there's different points in the history of MQ in the last 4 years where it's transformed. It's maybe stopped and paused, maybe gone backwards, and now we're full speed ahead. We're just going for it as a team.
So what are your plans then going forward?
There's a lot. There's a lot of dreams, and the vision is expanding and evolving. So MQ Fest is really the trigger point. The launch of MQ Tribe has arrived. It's kind of like a signal to the world that, look, here we are. It's like a calling to the people here that you can be a part of this. So MQ Fest is not driven by making money, not driven by status or publicity in terms of fame. It's really, I don't care how many people come. It's just I want the right people to be there. You know, the festival could be 10 people, but if they're the right 10 people, you're going to have the most beautiful life. So, okay, we're going to have 250, 300 people, which is nice.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a good launch pad. But the strategy of MQ Tribe and MQ Fest is to do the festival twice a year. So that will be every 6 months. The people that come, they know, okay, I don't have to wait, another so many years for this festival. It's going to be another 6 months. So you can see a lot of what we're doing. MQ Fest twice a year, MQ Dojo every month, MQ Growth Academy every week. So if you've got this set in your life, you don't really need to worry too much about personal development. It's integrated into your life. And you're meeting like-minded people who are also doing amazing things.
So I think this is why also your men's group started working really good. And I do feel like that's not only a Marbella issue, but I know that men are not so open about these things with their, like, maybe regular friends or co-workers, whereas women, you know how we are, like when we have a date, we call, oh my God, he was wearing this, that, he did this, that. So we analyze, okay, it's good or bad. No, you shouldn't think that. No. So we go on the whole thing, whereas men are like, yeah, it was good. Okay, bye. So they don't have a sense of, like, they don't analyze, they don't get a perspective from others, they don't get like so much input and like discussion about things. And I think that's really cool. And obviously they need to talk and they need to vent and they need to let things out. And then it's nice when someone is there like you, who is supporting them with the personal development. And it's super, super interesting what you're doing. I love that.
So there, this is where we
and it's all happening in Marbella, which is incredible, because I've seen Marbella also. I came here 15 years ago, and obviously there hasn't been anything like that, and still isn't. I think you're still quite unique in what you do. And let's touch a little bit more about Marbella before we wrap up, because it is Marbella life. So what is Marbella life? What does it mean for you? What does your everyday look like in Marbella? You wake up. How do your days look like?
Okay, so I still do some corporate work. So I still have my business running. So I might be doing virtual sessions with companies in Switzerland, Germany, or London usually. Sometimes I might be flying to do team coaching with different companies. So that's my business life. I do try and spend the mornings with doing the gym, going to yoga, going for hikes and walks. So just really making the most of what Marbella is. There's so many people I know here that don't make full use of actually the place that we're in. It's not just about the restaurants and the fancy parties. Marbella is about the La Concha, the mountains behind us, and it's about the Mediterranean Sea and the beaches around us. And if we really connect to that, it's amazing. So that's what I do. And not just on my own, but with friends, having gatherings and really making the most of that. And then also working on different events, so weekly events. There's a lot of free events I do as well in Marbella. So that's really the roots of MQ Tribe, was a lot of free events here to connect. So I run something called MQ Connect, because there's a lot of networking events in Marbella, but there isn't really many events which are about genuine, authentic, deep connection. So that's when I started that. So I focus myself on doing positive things. And every single time I run any event, I meet so many amazing people. Even if I'm tired afterwards and I say, many events, I'll say, oh, I'm not doing that again. I'm so tired. I should stop doing these events, you know. Then literally the next couple of days, I'll do another event again, because I think about the relationships that I've made from these events, the people that I've met, how incredible they are in terms of their backgrounds and the open hearts that they have when they come to the events. And it motivates me to do more of that. And people say to me, oh, in Marbella, it's so difficult for me to meet people who are like-minded. And I think it's because you're not trying enough, not trying hard enough. Because if you try hard enough, you will find the right people. And I'm not saying that to judge them or make them feel bad. It's just the truth. And I know it from my own experience. I wasn't trying hard enough. I was complaining about it. I was judging people about it. Oh,
you were spending more time on doing that, whereas finding these connections.
I was doing that. Oh, yeah, Marbella is so superficial and it's so like cosmetic and people are so much focused on the outside. I said, well, you see what is within yourself. If only you are looking for these things, that's all you will see. But if you are coming from a different place, you will start to connect with people from a different place. I even have friends right now who say, oh, I hate this, I hate that. I said, if you hate, whatever you hate, it will persist in your life. You know, then what happens is when you make these judgments about people in Marbella, it actually becomes your own prison. And you create a barrier between yourself and this other human being. So that's a lot of my work in MQ is like, take away the barriers, take away the judgments that we have. And just see the person for who they are. It doesn't matter if they're tall or short, skinny or fat, beautiful or maybe not so beautiful physically, you know. But inside, everyone has that beauty. In Marbella, more than anywhere, I've met those people. So I think that's what I would encourage people to do here is just open your eyes. Don't be predictable. Don't just go to the same places. Discover.
Change. But if you're looking for change, then change the places. You know,
there's so many people here who are doing amazing things.
Honestly.
It's just, you have to find them. And what you find is that one of the individuals in these different communities, we're like a little portal, doorway into all the other communities. So once you're in one group, you hear about the other groups. And before you know it, like there are so many people in MQ Tribe who've said to me, sometimes with tears in their eyes, like they've literally got teary, even the guys, that I was thinking of leaving Marbella, my life was going downhill here, I didn't feel at home. And after your events and after coming to your experiences, like I really feel like I'm a part of something. I feel a sense of belonging. So that's a beautiful thing, and that's worth gold to be part of something like that.
Yeah, we all, like you said, it comes back to community. And when, like I said, we're all from somewhere in Marbella, and I've also felt that. I've had some friends who've left and they sort of feel like I don't have family, you know, I don't have my family here from Estonia. So I do feel like sometimes, you know, I'm missing that community, but it's up to us to build one. If, you know, it's not like there isn't people. You just have to find the right people and deal with the people you like, you know. And I think also once you're open to it, they start coming like rain. You know, like even Buzzy, you know, I was manifesting, thinking, I really want someone, I want to meet someone who is, you know, who I can work with. And it's quite hard to find people to work with around Marbella. And I was like, really want some. The next thing I know, I meet him in this amazing event, Elysium. I think you were there.
Yeah.
So I was like, you see, all you need to do is ask and you shall be given. But sometimes we just don't ask, we just complain. And the complaining is no good. It doesn't take us anywhere.
No, it doesn't. We create the reality with the words that we use.
Yeah.
That's why I like this concept of our words being magic spells from the work of Ruiz from the Four Agreements, where he talks about this. Every time we say these words, like, oh, it's hard, it's difficult. I mean, I say it myself sometimes. Oh, it's so difficult, like learning Spanish. But I know that that's a bad spell because I'm saying that to myself. So it's like, no, it's easy, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Imagine all the connections I make and the friendships because I know how to communicate. So it's like flipping the script, we call it, you know, in psychology. Flip the script, reframe the story, find new ways of communicating with yourself.
So you're still working on it yourself as well. What is?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, not in
sometimes people maybe they look at you and say, yeah, easy for you to say. You seem so happy and peaceful and calm and everything good, but you still have your own issues and
of course,
probably programming from the past.
Yeah, for sure. It's just.
I feel sorry to disturb you, but when you have a child and you have a child, I think then you see also so many of the patterns that we've been parented, you know. That come out as you parent that you had no idea about. So I find becoming a parent, such an important lesson spiritually and in all the ways. So I feel like I've become a different person when I became a parent. It really changed me in so many ways that you cannot even predict, because you don't know what's going to come out,
You have no idea.
So many things from the past but I think, like you said, the first thing is to become aware. At least when you're aware, then you know, okay, this is something that I have to work on. If you're not even aware and just going through life, then nothing really is going to change, is it? No. So to wrap up, tell me also, where can we find you in Marbella? You say you're going to places, you meet night places. Where are your favorite places? Where can we see you? And don't name them all, maybe just a few, and then the rest I put in my blog a list of your favorite places so people can go and check them out.
Oh, favorite places. That's a very good question. Where do we tend to do a lot of our events? So MQ Tribe events happen in retreat centers. So Villa Veluz, we did a men's circle after a long break just a couple of weeks ago. 15 men came to Villa Veluz and it was amazing. Place in Elviria, La Marina. There's like the rooftop bar in Los Manteros. It's a beautiful place for doing a little mini gatherings.
In Kimpton.
Kimpton Hotel. So we did about 30 entrepreneurs came for a beautiful gathering there.
But any places that you go, maybe for coffee or for
coffees? I go to Morning People Cafe.
I don't know.
So Morning People Cafe is a beautiful cafe that's by the beachside. It's maybe a few streets inland. And it's a really lovely cafe with some quite unique recipes. It's a plant-based cafe, the only one in the whole of Marbella. So they do a lot of interesting variations of how to use tofu and various things.
Never heard of that. It's in Marbella Center.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Morning People Cafe is a great place. Organic market place. Of course, I'm friends with them and they do beautiful things there.
Yeah, they have lovely food there. And I think some vegan dishes
They have some good vegan dishes, so I like...
Yeah, like I said, there maybe isn't many vegan cafes, but there is a lot of places that have the plant-based options.
Yeah, this is definitely...
Because you're vegan.
I'm plant-based, so it's a big part of my life and my choices around health. So... I'm always searching out for good options and also good venues for us to run events and partnerships and collaboration. So anyone's listening to this,
feel free.
Who wants to reach out and, either come to the festival, highly encouraged. But if you want to just collaborate and, invite us to your location and venue or, then I'll be very happy to do that.
Great. I will link your Instagram and your website and everything in my YouTube and in the blog. So people will have, they have a way to reach you. So thank you again for coming. And if there's any last words, if there's something we didn't talk about that you want to touch on, then feel free to add, because I think we could be here another 3 hours. I have actually so many more questions, but maybe we do another episode after the festival.
Sure, that would be great.
Talk about that as well, how it went.
I think a lot of stories after the festival.
Or any last words? Maybe you have like a nice motto that you want to leave people, or what would be like, if you had to say, what would be your legacy that you want to leave, or a thought that you want to leave to people today?
Well, I think Mahatma Gandhi's quote, which always stays with me, is become the change you wish to see. And I've never... Oh, really?
That's strange. I get you.
Be the change. Is that, wow.
Yeah, and that's from 2013.
Wow, incredible. Yeah, that's been always...
From a hippie market in Ibiza.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't plan that, by the way.
No. That's why I get like chill.
Spontaneous. But that stuck in my head as a kid, because Gandhi really represented for me as a kid becoming the change. And a lot of the work I'm doing, like with the festival, like I have never done a festival of this size before, and I've never, pulled so many people together for this kind of thing. But just having that sense of trust and surrender, and like, if I want to create something beautiful in the world, I'm going to have to take a risk. And I would say that's my key message to anyone watching this: is don't be a consumer, be a creator. And to be a creator means you have to take a risk, and you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your failures, and you will get better the more you risk, and you just keep on going. Have your allies, your tribe around you, your friends who are your best supporters and your champions, and just go for it. Go for it, because life is short. We're just like a flash in the universe. We're just here for a few moments. So don't waste it.
Yeah.
Don't waste the gift.
Beautiful words. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
you.
coming. And yeah, you will have to go to my blog, tenesommer.com, to see more info about Dev. I'm going to link his books, his website, the event. And yeah, try not to miss the event. It's going to be on the 8th of November in Cueva del Cato in Ronda. It's a stunning hotel. And I'm going to link also the episode with Darren, who is the owner of the place. And he has a beautiful story as well. So I know there will be some amazing people there. I can't wait to go. And I hope you come too. And also, I forgot to mention where we are. We are also in this beautiful, beautiful office apartment that is designed and by a beautiful architect, Aida Cohen. I will also link her details. And because we need a space that is beautiful and quiet to film, and I'm so grateful we can be here because this is a beautiful setting. And on the other side, we have the yachts and the sea and Marbella life.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, thank you, and thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends if that resonated with you. So thank you.
This episode is brought to you by Sandon, a family-run furniture company with a brand new flagship store in Forum Marbella.